What if the secret to real happiness wasn't about getting more, but actually wanting less? Today, we're going to dive into this incredibly powerful Islamic concept called 𝗧𝗃, or asceticism. And it's not really about just giving up the world, it's more about finding freedom from its grip. We'll be drawing from the timeless wisdom of Al-Kafi, one of the most important collections of traditions, to explore why this path is seen as so essential for a clear, peaceful heart. So let's start with this powerful image from Imam Ali, alayhi salam. This is recorded in Al-Kafi, Volume 2, Chapter 61, Hadith 22. He said, "The world is like a snake. It's smooth to the touch, but inside it's just filled with deadly venom." Wow. I mean, that one metaphor perfectly captures the tension we're going to explore today. And that really makes you think, right? How can something that's so alluring, so full of things we think we desire, also be so dangerous for our soul? Let's get into the wisdom that tries to answer that very question. To help us really get a handle on this danger, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the Imams ﷺ, they didn't just give us a list of rules. No, they gave us these vivid analogies, these powerful word pictures that show us the world's true nature as, well, a beautiful deception.
Okay, so here's the first analogy. This one comes to us from Imam 𝗵𝗶𝗀 𝗧𝗵𝗲. He compares chasing after worldly pleasures to a person who's dying of thirst and they try to drink from the ocean.
This narration from Al-Kafi, it just paints such a stark picture, doesn't it? The more you drink from the ocean of worldly desire, the more your thirst just rages. It's this heartbreaking cycle of always seeking, but never, ever finding real satisfaction. Wealth, status, pleasure, they all promise to fill you up, but they only make the emptiness inside feel deeper, leading you not to peace, but to spiritual ruin. All right, next up, we have another incredible image, this time from Imam Abu Ja'far alayhi salam. He compares a person who's greedy for the world to a silkworm. Just picture that for a second. A silkworm carefully spinning this beautiful silk prison all around itself. And with every single thread it adds, its escape becomes more and more impossible. This is such a perfect image for worldly attachment, and you can find it in Hadith 20. The more we wrap ourselves up in possessions and anxieties, the more trapped we get, cut off from our real purpose, and, as the Imam alayhi salam warns, destined to die in sorrow. So you see, these aren't just pretty stories. They're all pointing to a fundamental truth in Islamic spirituality. This love for the world, it isn't just one problem among many. It's actually seen as the very root, the source of every spiritual problem.
This statement, right here from Al-Kafi, is such a bold claim. I mean, just think about it for a second. Could it be that every spiritual battle we face, from envy to arrogance to greed, ultimately grows from this one unhealthy attachment to this world?
And the hadith breaks it down for us. It explains how the very first sins, like arrogance and greed, they grew from this one seed of envy. And from that seed, a whole tree of problems just sprouted up. You can see some of the main branches here. That thirst for power, the obsession with just having an easy, comfortable life, the need to always be the center of attention with our words, and that drive for status and wealth. All of these destructive habits are fed by the very same root, choosing the temporary pleasures of this world over what is eternal. So if attachment is the disease, then what's the cure? Well, the narrations lay out a very clear path for us, and that path is 𝗧𝗃, or asceticism. So what exactly is 𝗧𝗃? It's so easy to get the wrong idea. It's not about being poor or just denying yourself everything. Imam Abu Abdullah alayhi salam makes this really clear in Hadith 5. It's not about what's in your hands. It's about what's in your heart. The whole point is to free your hearts for the hereafter, to really cultivate an inner freedom from the world's constant pull. And Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein alayhi salam, he just sums up the whole essence of 𝗧𝗃 so beautifully with this single verse from the Quran. It's all about finding an inner balance, a spiritual stability. I mean, imagine not being totally crushed by life's setbacks or getting completely carried away by its successes. That is the freedom of 𝗧𝗃, because your heart is anchored to something so much bigger, so much more permanent. So what does this freedom actually feel like on the inside? The narrations give us a really vivid picture of the internal state of a person who walks this path, and it's a sharp contrast to someone who stays tangled up in the world. All right, this slide really lays it all out, this powerful contrast between two kinds of hearts. On one side, you have the heart that's just stuck in the world, always chasing its fleeting blossoms, always wanting the next new thing, and totally distracted from its ultimate destination. But then there's the other heart, The heart of the ascetic, as described by Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein alayhi salam. It's a heart that's marked by this profound humility and simplicity. Its needs are light, its heart is concerned with its spiritual well-being, and it makes sure that it doesn't cause harm to others.
And here's the thing, when you start to embrace zuhd, your entire perspective, it just shifts. As Imam Abu Ja'far alayhi salam explains in Hadith 16, you start to see the world for what it really is, a temporary house of annihilation. And the hereafter, well, that becomes your true home, your house of permanent abode. Just imagine for a moment how differently you would live your life if you held that profound truth in your heart every single day. Now, it is so important to get this. This path of detachment isn't about deprivation. It's the complete opposite. In fact, the narrations promise that it unlocks rewards that are just beyond measure. These are gifts for the soul, for the mind, and for the heart.
I mean, just look at what's being promised here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala plants wisdom directly in their hearts. They start to gain this deep insight into the world's problems and their solutions. Their hearts are finally free to focus on what truly matters. Life's challenges, they become easier to handle. And they're promised a safe and peaceful journey to the next life. This path doesn't lead to poverty. It leads to an incredible spiritual richness, a direct gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And this brings us to this amazing, radical redefinition of what it means to be wealthy. This narration, which is from chapter 63 of Al-Kafi, it just makes it crystal clear. True richness isn't about what you have in your bank account. It's about the state of your heart. The one who is truly content with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them, they are, in fact, the richest of all people.
And so we're left with a question, something for you to really think about. I mean, our entire culture is built on this idea of wanting more, achieving more, having more. But after exploring this ancient wisdom, this completely different perspective on life, it's worth asking yourself, what does true wealth really mean to you?